Hi, I'm Caroline O'Neill. I live in Los Angeles. When my children were 4 years old and 7 years old, we survived an armed robbery. My 7-year-old survived by hiding behind a trash bin. And from that vantage point, she saw the gunman take his revolver, cock it, and put it in the face of my preschooler. I did what any mother would do without thinking. I stepped between the gunman and my baby, knowing that when he shot me, the bullet would go through my body and into my child. But that was the only thing I could do in that moment to try and shield her. When I stepped in front of the gunman, he put the revolver in my face. I was 6 inches away. And I literally looked down the barrel and knew I was going to die. I looked up into the gunman's eyes and they were blank. They were a void. There was no emotion in them. And I knew this is it. In my head, I said, God, I am not afraid to die. Just please do not let me die this way in front of my children because they will never get over it. I don't know what happened with the perpetrators in their heads after that, but they robbed us and left. Thank God. However, the people they left, myself and my children, were not the same people who had moments before been living a life detached from gun violence. What they left were broken souls. Something inside my psyche snapped when I saw a gun pointed at the face of my 4-year-old child. And I'm not the same since then. And I don't know that my children are the same either. We are definitely not 100% the people we were. I want to appeal to the American people. I want to beg you to vote for Congress people who will enact gun control legislation. And I want to appeal to a variety of motives. If you are a Christian person, Jesus of Nazareth said, "Let the little children come unto me." He did not say, sacrifice your children on the altar of NRA greed. If you are an American person and proud to be a citizen of the United States, as I am, I beg you to look at the preamble to the Constitution. Our framers are telling us they wrote the Constitution to ensure domestic tranquility, to promote the general welfare, to secure the blessings of liberty for ourselves and for our posterity. Without gun control legislation, we don't have the blessings of liberty. We have the curse of fear and death. We don't have domestic tranquility anymore. We have domestic terrorism. And we need to promote the general welfare. And that means we need to promote a sense of community in our country. We don't need to be divided. We can have different perspectives, but we have to agree that no amount of PAC money or gun lobbyist money is worth the cost of our children's lives. Even if our children survive physically a mass shooting, they are not going to survive without being deeply damaged. Gun-related trauma in childhood is a serious psychosocial, medical, and public policy problem. It has serious consequences for its victims and for our society. Trauma-induced changes to the brain can result in cognitive impairment, emotional dysregulation, difficulty with attention and focus, learning disabilities, low self-esteem, impaired social skills, sleep disturbances. How can we be a society that economically even competes in a global marketplace when our citizens are crippled by the effects of gun violence? This is not how to make our country a strong nation. Let me give you an example of what's possible. In the Tasmanian region of Australia occurred their very first mass shooting. Within 12 days of that horrific tragedy, the government came together on a bipartisan basis and enacted the National Firearms Program Implementation Act. This is arguably the most successful gun intervention implemented to date, and there has not been a mass shooting in Australia since. Gun control legislation works. It works well. But my fellow American citizens, it is absolutely imperative that we elect to Congress representatives who are voting in favor of their constituents. My fear now is that we have Congress people who have been bought and paid for by the NRA at the cost of their constituents. I fear we have lawmakers opposing gun control measures because they're getting rich from pro-gun lobbies. How disgusting is it to ignore the children in your district? Be willing for the children of your constituents to be mowed down in school, to be slaughtered, so that you can become a millionaire or add to your wealth. No, no, my American citizens, we have to put ourselves first. As parents, as human beings, we have to protect our children. We absolutely have to.